All right, hi, I'm Sammy Zuckerman,
I'm Becca Medwin.
and we had client number 5, Mr. Mitchell, and I'm just going to quickly go through and hold up close what our board looks like page by page, and then we'll start talking about it. So here's the first page, some core words, and then second page, we get into like greetings, keyboard. Third page, some fringe starts, more fringe with the keyboard. Keyboard's alphabetical for ease, and last page is just a keyboard. Okay, so going through the checklist, in terms of client message formulation, the client, Mr. Mitchell, will point to phrases, words, or the letters on the keyboard just because he does have intact fine and gross motor movement, so he should do that with ease, no problem, just by pointing. The vocabulary selection, so we looked up and started with our common core words on the first page, because those would be most easily accessed. You know, we talked about the Starbucks situation and just having those words readily available. Then we chose fringe words based on his description that we were given, included those throughout the rest of the device as you go through the pages, like places to go, people, feelings, and different things like that. And then we also chose some basic greetings that would be on the second page, that if he's just wanting to say, hey, how are ya, or something to someone, then he has those as well. We included at the top too, like a hi, my name is, and then like his wife, Joe, and Fitz, his kids, just for like super easy access to them as well. And then if he's going to type something, there's like a type indication, like I'll type it, follow along, it may take a minute, thank you. So just to kind of show like the courtesy to who's unfamiliar to working with those that use AAC devices to communicate. So purposes of communication, we believe that this device will help him communicate and actively participate in all different types of communication settings, whether he's ordering something, like coffee. We know that he can't like eat, he is fed through a G tube. Don't know if that also goes for liquids, but we thought including a keyboard on each page would be helpful to him, because let's say he really wants to say a word that's on like the greetings page or something like that, or a French word page, but it's not there, then he can use the keyboard directly to access that, like another word, instead of having to flip to the individual keyboard page in the middle of a conversation. Activities and environment will be most effectively used one-on-one with someone, just because you are looking over a page to see what he's pointing at. But let's say he is in a group setting, he could communicate it to his wife or who's ever next to him, and then they could relay it to everybody else. And then we'll talk about our symbol set.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so because Mr. Mitchell is literate, we decided not to use any symbols, just words and phrases and a keyboard. We did decide to color code some of, all of the device, just so it's easier for him to access, and it'll increase his rate, which we'll talk about later. The format is obviously in a binder. He is able to, if he wanted to, take the pages out, or take it out of the binder and put a ring on it, if the binder is bothering him or it's too big or too much for him. And we used, as far as size, durability, and portability, we used a cardstock for strong durability, and we slipped it into page covers, and if he wanted to, so he could take it out easily, or if he wanted to add something, because we did leave blanks for him to add whatever he might want to. Like I mentioned earlier, we categorized his feelings, actions, and core words by highlighting each of them into categories, so it'll be easier for him to access and increase his rate enhancement. Like Sammy mentioned earlier, there is a keyboard on each page in case he wanted to add something. He doesn't have to flip to the back of the page for the keyboard. He will be, for access, Mr. Mitchell will be able to directly access this when talking to another person, or perhaps even two, but his wife can relay a message to a big group or multiple people if necessary. In cultural and personal factors, we realized that Mr. Mitchell is very well educated. He has fine gross and motor skills. He is still capable of pointing and typing due to the fact that his fine and gross motor movements are great. There's nothing in there that says he has any issues with that. So we gave him a device that would not be difficult or hard to carry around. And we noticed that we saw that we don't want him to draw attention to himself. So this is kind of smaller, and it doesn't going to draw attention to anybody or draw attention to himself because we know that there's issues with his depression and anxiety. So we thought this would be best for him. And we know that he's more intelligible to his wife as opposed to strangers. So this device will be very helpful when he's communicating with those outside of his home. So
Yeah.
that's our device.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.